Welcome to Tigercast, the College and Career Readiness podcast where you learn useful tips to help you plan for your future. Today we're joined with our special guest, Technical Sergeant Loven. Before we start our interview, remember to take control of your future by joining the California Army National Guard and serving your community during local and state emergencies. You'll learn marketable skills, earn a paycheck, and get money for school. Contact Sergeant Aquino today at 916-233-7615. So hi, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. So I'm just going to ask you a couple questions about your military career and then how students who are interested in the Air Force would start that process,
Sure.
So if you don't mind, could you tell me a little bit about how you started your career in the Air Force, like if you were enlisted or anything like that, and what your job is?
There's only two ways you can come in the Air Force. It's either enlisted or officer. And since I got this stuff on my sleeve, that means I'm enlisted. So you can't go back and forth, but I started out enlisted back when I was 18, straight out of high school, and I've been in for 12 years now. Does that answer that one?
Yeah. So when you first enlisted, what was your job, or you said it was an AFSC?
Yeah, so in the Air Force we have AFSCs compared to other branches like MOS.
Mm-hmm.
When I came in, it was 2E2. So it was a long time ago, 12 years ago. It was 2E2, and I was a cryptographic linguist, kind of like working on those systems. And then after a while, the Air Force changed me over to the AFSC 3 Delta 1 X2, which is cyber transport. So currently, I'm a recruiter, so that's 8R000. But back before I was recruiting 3 years ago, I was over in Virginia, and I just worked on computers and networking, just like how the laptop here is connected to some kind of Wi-Fi in the school grounds. Like Mr. Pugh, he's over in the theater looking at all of his stuff. I would be the guy that makes sure that always is working.
Cool. And then could you just explain to me a little bit how that enlistment process looks like how it looks going to MEPS, taking ASVAB and stuff like that?
Well, the good thing about today, there's an ASVAB in the theater, so the people that are taking the ASVAB at the school, they get to skip a step. But ASVAB itself, I recommend taking the test at the school just because it's easier and there's less portions of the test. But the process, if you didn't take the test here, they would just come see me at the office. I would give them a practice test, or maybe even before coming to the office, I can give them a practice test. Just contact me. You would take the ASVAB. If you do well on the ASVAB, then we move on to the next step in processing and qualifications, which would be the physical. Sometimes people are clean pre-screen, no issues. Sometimes it may take a little bit longer. Sometimes people need to lose a little bit of weight. I think of people as kind of like a fingerprint. Everybody's different, and hopefully I can help them join the military in any way I can.
Yeah, that's super awesome. So could you just explain to me a little bit about the difference between enlisted officers and then like reserves and air guard and stuff like that?
So I'm enlisted, and all I can do, I know it's different from other branches. Army National Guard's been in here, and then the Army, they can do Army Reserves. And the Navy, they can do Navy Reserves. But Air Force is a little bit different. Air Force, I can only help people that want to do active duty full-time careers. Mm-hmm. But if they want to get more information about Air National Guard or Air Force Reserves, the benefits are a little bit different for the two different Guard and Reserve. But I would help them get in touch with those recruiters if they need be, because my information's on the website. Maybe I can get the Air National Guard out here to take a picture and load it up on the website, as well as the Reserve. I think they're in lingo right now, so swapping out new recruiters and stuff. So.
Okay, cool. So just on another note, could you just explain to me what boot camp is like and just life at boot camp?
Boot camp's pretty simple for us. I know that you've asked in the past how long it is. Mm-hmm. I do believe we have the shortest boot camp of all branches because we only have 7.5 weeks at the boot camp. And then after that, we have what's called an Airman's Week, but it really isn't boot camp. You've already graduated. Everybody saw you in your uniform. You did parade. So for like the first 3 weeks, it's pretty gruesome. Like they're gonna break you down a little bit to try to build you back up with our core values, which is excellence in all we do, service before self, and integrity first. So like when people come into the Air Force, they don't really live those core values just yet, and they think that maybe they can get away with tricks, but that's what the Air Force is going to help them build up to in boot camp. After the first 3 weeks, it kind of just dies down. It's kind of relaxing. They trust that you've already got those, and they test you to see if you're doing the right things when no one's looking. And that's honestly when you're doing things while no one's looking and you're doing the right things. That's when the new airmen that are coming. That's when they're going to start to be better than their peers. So that's how they win awards at basic training, honor graduate and honor flight and all these other awards that they get because they're starting to live by the core values.
Can you get promoted at Boot too?
So there's two different ways people can join the military. There's, commitment. You can sign up for 4 years or 6 years, but the promotion for us, if you sign up for 6 years, would happen during technical training.
Is
So
that
boot,
like job school?
yeah, job school. So their first at boot camp, if you came in with college credits or you finished junior ROTC somewhere, at that point, at the end of boot camp, you would get promoted to E2 or E3, depending on what qualifications you had when you came in.
Cool, that's super awesome. Also, could you just expand a little bit on some of the benefits that the Air Force has given you?
Well, I mean, when I first came in 18 years old out of high school, I definitely needed a roof over my head and free food and the medical benefits because I didn't want my mom and dad to worry about that stuff no more. But as my Air Force career has gone on, life has changed and it's gotten better. So now I like to use the benefits to, give my family a roof over their head as well as money for food and also just all the medical benefits. My wife is still coverage and she doesn't have to worry about insurance, and as well as my daughter who's 3 years old.
Cool.
So,
what about educational benefits as far as college and stuff like that?
so Air Force, there's a couple ways you can use Air Force benefits for that. Most people in the Air Force, though, they don't touch they won't touch the post 9/11. I know a lot of people talk about the post 9/11 and how you get free education, but while I'm in the Air Force, as well as my wife when she was in the Air Force, we use what's called tuition assistance, and that pays 100% of the school classes that someone would take. So, and it doesn't really matter what career you choose or which degree you choose. They'll be given $4,500 every year. And if they don't use that $4,500, then it goes away. And then beginning October, they get a brand new $4,500 to use.
Cool. That's super cool. So like you said, when people pick their careers and stuff, going to college, do you think that often people pick their AFSC to, kind of integrate it into their civilian career after the military?
Yeah, for sure. Some people come in wanting the communication stuff because they want to work in computers for a long time. At that point, they would, if they were to get one of those positions, all of the school, like for me, I went to the cyber transport school and I got 64 college credits for that stuff. And then on top of that, all the OJT, on the job training, they're going to also be lucrative after the Air Force. But while I was in the Air Force too, the Air Force paid for 3 different certifications, CompTIA Security Plus, CompTIA Network Plus. So all of that kind of morphed itself into, obviously, it helped me, so it's going to help me after the Air Force. And there's other positions that people do all the time that will help them after the Air Force is over.
What are some of the popular career choices in Air Force?
Popular, just Air Force. If somebody just calling, that's probably because they want to work on some kind of aircraft. That's popular because Air Force. But there's a lot of other positions people call a lot about, we have what's called military police, or Air Force calls it security forces. People would like to do security forces just because they know that after they get done, they might be able to walk right in to have a position at SAC PD or California Highway Patrol or Folsom Police, Elk Grove Police Department. Elk Grove Police Department came up to me in a career fair and said that, oh yeah, for sure we would love to take people straight out of the Air Force with this job and give them a position.
That's super cool. I just have a couple more questions about you personally. What has been your favorite part about your military career?
I've been in the Air Force for a long time, so I've had a lot of different favorite parts. I would say right now my favorite part is just recruiting. And it's not changing lives immediately when they come to, they're still the same person.
Yeah.
But once they go through technical training and they go through basic and then they get to their first duty station, because I have an Instagram page and some people I put in the Air Force, they let me follow them. I get happy just knowing that they're loving life in the Air Force.
Yeah, that's super
Because I know some people graduated from this school, they're over in Japan now, so I get to see how he's like, loving life.
Yeah, so if you just want to shout yourself out a little bit, how would a student that wanted to join the Air Force contact you?
So I'm going to try to come to the school every Wednesday. If they need me to come by, I can come by. Just give me a call. Phone number is 916-201-7211. But also my information is on the website, the military page.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if anybody just wants to give me a call, shoot me a text, message me on Instagram, find ways to get in touch with me, they can just give me a call and I'll get in touch with them.
Okay, cool. That's all the questions I have, so thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.